Hi, this is Miss Hepworth, and I just wanted to share yesterday's lesson, September 30th, with you. I started the lesson by having students fill out the bell ringer 9/30 of 2020 that's on the platform. Then we discussed as far as expectations for assignment submission, just making sure that you are following proper grammar, spelling and punctuation, that you're going back and proofreading and making sure you answered all parts to the questions on an assignment. Another thing that some students are having difficulty with is actually creating shareable links for me to view and to edit or comment on. If you have any troubles, please make sure you do contact me and I can send you a video. So the majority of today's lesson is concerning graphing. Before we had been talking about kinetic energy, we analyzed a data table concerning the two factors, mass and velocity of kinetic energy, and now I'm setting you up to be able to graph that information. However, I want to make sure we're all on the same page about how to graph. So last year, if you had Miss Calhoun, she used this acronym, and I decided to adopt it to teach expectations for graphing. So the first thing that every graph needs is a title, and in the title itself, the name, there should be some mention of the two variables being graphed. The axis, the x-axis, is where you put the independent variable, and on the y-axis, you put the dependent variable. Interval, I think this is a term that some students are not as familiar with, but essentially, interval is how you space out the data on the graph. So you can see here that these different types of coins are evenly spaced. This can really detract from the understanding if your intervals are not appropriately spaced or unevenly spaced. Over here you can see that there's an equal spacing between each of the values, so the space has the same value. Label, okay, labels will let you know as far as what the numbers mean. So what is 24, 32, 40. The label here explains what those numbers mean. And last but not least, scale. Essentially, the scale should represent all the possible values that will be graphed on your graph. The last exercise I had students do was actually label this graph shown with tails. So putting a title up above, pointing out where you would put the independent and dependent variable, where you would put labels, and what it means by having an interval or a scale. So what I'm asking here in this slide is just to go ahead and take a text box, okay, and go ahead on top of the slide, go ahead and create the title and the other various parts of the TAILS acronym. If you would like to share that with me, I would definitely review that and give you some feedback. But you don't have to. Then I talked about these, talked actually about bad graphs. We talked about what to do in order to make a graph. And these are kind of like what they shouldn't have done or what not to do. So here, a lot of students reacted to just the subject matter of the graph, but really that's not really what's wrong here. Rather, it is the percentages. Okay, these percentages should add up to 100. This graph is bad because there is no labels on this side to understand what these rates mean or these numbers mean. And this one is the baddest of them all. It's very hard to understand. The colors they chose are so similar to one another, and then you're not sure of the percentages. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what I'm looking for when you graph information. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. But I hope you have a great day. Thank you.